Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host, Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Abhijit Bansod. Abhijit, welcome on the show.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Nitin. Great to be here.
Great to have you here. Let's start with who is Abhijit?
I always been a dreamer without being a designer. I became designer much later. I was dreamer. I could see opportunities. I became maker because my hand and I like things touched and feel and started making things out of whatever available things in childhood. Fortunate to get towards profession, then became more professional dreamer and professional maker, and I'm product designer by profession. I love humor. I'm bringing that in design, bringing that in narratives I built in, and I'm really desi in what I think, what I do, what I live. So that reflects a lot on what I design.
That's awesome. And it's great to be able to live your dreams and be able to bring them to life in terms of mostly physical products, but also in many experiences for millions of people. And we'd love to hear more of that here in the next few minutes. Let us start with what is you worked in the corporate world, you worked with some of the biggest and best names in the industry, and you've been working on many different things. But let's maybe start with what is the ADB Studio? What is the mission? What is the vision? And more importantly to me, why do this instead of continuing to be in the corporate world, getting a paycheck at the end of the month and not having to deal with so many different maybe stresses and pressures that come along with it?
Yeah, sometimes I also think about that. Me and my wife have this constant discussion on about same situation because we had this really amazing company to work with, which is Titan, which is a Tata company, and
Mhm.
really respects design, gives a platform to designers, give a due credit to designers, and we were part of really the early movers in
Mhm.
design studio, and 10 years was a long time to spend on something in company which is title and very difficult to leave, but extremely difficult to leave. I mean, you're getting the best exposure, you're getting a platform to express what we feel, you're getting platform to create collection of your own, which you understand India is. And with leaving that and starting something on your own needed a probably something different for me. Finding the meaning of Indian design in this world of Scandinavian and Japanese design philosophies was something very important. And I thought starting Studio ABD would be a platform where we experiment a lot. Of course, when I started Studio ABD, I had no idea on business side of it, how we're going to survive out of that. But uh, we were very clear that we will find something exciting, we will create something exciting. And that's with maybe a naive and maybe a little silly, but maybe a very optimistic thing. We started Studio with there. That's the we started that. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I'm glad you did. And you mentioned something, but in a very humble way. So I want to make sure we call that out separately. You're one of the pioneers in the whole Indian design philosophy in terms of what it means to have an Indian design mindset. And I would love for you to touch upon that in the discussion and the narrative we have here. But let's step back and talk about the impact your work has created, the types of designs, the kind of things and products and experiences you've been able to bring to life in the past few years.
Yeah, as I said that I've always taken this parallel that and we had this Ayurveda, yoga,
Mhm.
Bollywood, becoming a global phenomena in the world, but not so with the Indian design was reflected on it. And wanted to really have that celebrating Indian narratives and bringing this new age design, which are global and sophisticated enough that everyone can consume or use or appreciate that. That's how we really started building in just the Studio ABD. The question you asked on impact and kind of possibilities and things we had. Yeah, we had really good opportunities and on working different brands. We had the opportunity working on very unique concepts, including museums, building, and kind of variety of work we get. It's really amazing. Morning, we are doing a chocolate, and at the end of the day, we are solving the complex EV problem. And that's something gives us a really different flavor of bringing different work together, learning from different experiences, applying one segment, learning in another segment.
Mhm.
I think that's something is really amazing for us in terms of kind of impact or kind of reach we could take from bottom of pyramid to ultra luxury. But the
Mhm.
core remains a very strong Indian ethos and finding opportunities to celebrate those.
That is so amazing and wonderful. And yeah, I can just even imagine the joy it brings to have that breadth and spectrum of things that you get to solve for, bring to life, just apply creativity. And as you said, learnings from one completely different set of products, or just even taking that inspiration and applying it to a whole different domain. That that can be very exciting and obviously challenging at times. So, talking about challenges, what's the one big challenge you're facing right now?
I think there's I mean we always been we're very good at finding expression, getting narratives to give a form or build a very powerful story around a very powerful way of life into the product. Our biggest challenge probably been and was to translate that into business or translate that into mass movement
Mhm.
where it requires a different set of understanding to really cultivate that, build on that, and manage that. I think that's been our biggest challenge to really be focused on one because I like the flirtiest nature of design where
Right.
we get to different things and not really married to one thought and that become, oh, he's only one type of, and that's a bit scary for us to be known for only one knob designer. We need to probably build in that. So I think the challenge was really to learn, take this little idea and give a justice to it to have give its platform that it can really become something it deserves. And sometimes it's bigger than us, and it's sometimes it's bigger than me for sure. And that is the biggest challenge we've been seeing in our kind of maybe in industry and of course the work.
It's a great problem to have, right? How do you take a seed and let it mature into its own life? And that's beautiful. And you get to do that multiple times in a day. So I'm a little jealous. Now, on the flip side of challenges come opportunities. I'd love to hear, and I know this will be difficult, if I say, what's the one exciting opportunity you have?
Hmm. I think it's tough, but I will probably talk about one which is current one because it's
Sure.
in your lifetime and span of that moment, that thing looks most amazing because you are so involved in that, you're
Mhm.
so invested in that at that time. So currently, I take this little journey of designers who start from P for portfolio to P for projects to at
Mhm.
some point we reach a P for purpose.
Love.
And I found that P for purpose in the pandemic, and it was about changing the visual tapestry of Indian streets by creating something really beautiful, really functional for street vendors. Because A, they do not have a mobility. They might have a mobile, they got a best mobile technology,
Yes.
but their mobility, something was missing. And that affected them during pandemic. And I think the whole makeshift world uses the word jugaad, which I have nothing against it, but I don't want to over celebrate that part. I think it's what you call it's a compulsion. It's not
Mhm.
something we really want to do. But however, so we wanted to create something really beautiful design, and that project started something named as Tiguna, and
Mhm.
that means Teen Guna, and something three times. So we wanted to give three times super design, three times reach, three times safety, three times comfort, but most importantly, three times respect to this
Mhm.
community, really hardworking community. We wanted to bring Indian women with traditional costumes should be able to ride this Tiguna so easily that our dream is to see this women entrepreneurs zipping on an Indian street and really good design product designed for a massive change in terms of opportunity, life, and the visual culture of aesthetics on the streets.
This project, purpose of yours, brings a real smile to my heart as we discussed. This truly democratizes the and dignifies the people that truly deserve a chance, and not just a chance, but to be able to be efficient and effective and to be able to do more because they need to. And it also truly uplifts the patriotism that we need to have in our citizens. And we need to be able to feel proud of what we see on our streets that we have built. And it's about time. And I'm glad you're leading this effort. And I can't wait to see this come to life here pretty soon. Again, congratulations for all the progress you've made so far. And I can't wait to see this and maybe even get a chance to write this pretty soon.
Absolutely, that would be great.
So, Abhijit, as we look forward on what's exciting and what's to come, I want to take a pause and reflect in the rearview mirror. Talk about two instances in your career, in your life, where in one, things did not work out as you had expected. It was a failure in your books, and maybe there was a lesson that came out of it. And the other experience where things exceeded your own expectations and became a success beyond your imagination.
Yeah, see, failures are really amazing, and especially being a designer, one of the biggest enemy for what you can do is your own ego.
Mhm.
It's really inward journey for everything that I do, I this, I believe. Nothing wrong in that. The world changes because of one single point of view sometimes. However, I fail to manage my own expectation from myself. Didn't learn much about the art of negotiation, and we really missed a very important project. Halfway through, it was terminated.
Mhm.
That would have been a huge impact on sustainable practices in India, and I really regret for not doing it right. And it's just that part was the what happened, but what prompted me to it helped me that failure helped me to open up a lot and started asking help beyond my own limited view or knowledge of the world. It helped me get a coach, business coach. I learned a lot on the business and personal expectation and how each one's roles are important in that. It's a way back, but I think that really changed the way I look at today the project, not as a project and outcome, but how it's going to impact, how many people it's going to reach, what kind of behavioral change I can bring it to in any whatever segment. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily talking about only luxury or this, but whatever the target user is, that how I'm going to bring the thing. I think that failure taught me a lot, and I've been learning and I've been practicing. I'm far better in that, but long way to go, I would say.
We are all a work in progress, right?
Totally.
What about the success? Something that became much bigger than you had expected.
Two projects I would very quickly,
Mhm.
briefly talk about.
Sure.
One was Nebula Palace Collection,
Mhm.
which was my first project when I started Studio ABD. It was a design project I got, and I traveled. It was creating a very ultra luxury for India. It was very exciting because we could see the Swiss brands are coming in, and
Mhm.
only ways possibilities that you start celebrating your own space, then seeing that international brand celebrating your own space, and then you're like, wow, we didn't think about it. So I think that collection, which was inspired by palaces, got me to travel 19 palaces, stayed in fantastic palace hotels, and then we shortlisted few, and one of the favorite my of that was Rambagh Palace in Jaipur.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think I never seen so elegant and welcoming space for that. And those watches are truly fantastic when we designed in 2010. They were, how do I say, $6,000 to $8,000 price
Mhm.
bracket in
Mhm.
solid gold, 200 diamonds on them, and just limited edition of 49 each, and it really got sold out in 6 months without any commercials on TV. So that kind of made me really think that India is really ready for India, and that gave me a huge confidence beyond I could imagine that there's something we are on the right track. um, Second quick project
Mhm.
about got invited to celebrate Sachin Tendulkar's life on Carter. Can't get bigger than that as a designer that you're gonna create something for a god of cricket.
Mhm.
That public installation, that whole creating experience, how everyone putting, including the factory workers, polishing it to such a best level because it was for Sachin.
Yes.
And that's where the second realization came that if your purpose is larger than yourself, everyone will come to make it better. And today, after 10 years, it's still there. And millions of people interacted with that. And a lot of visualization on which we thought it would work. And it surprises me to see that what I thought and how bigger it was actually than I could imagine. So, two very humbling experiences of great learning and great opportunity.
And great success. Thank you for sharing those. And yeah, I can just imagine the joy of bringing something to life for someone that is literally uh, followed by the entire nation. So that's a big moment. And obviously, you worked for it, and that's why you were brought into the picture because they trusted you to do it complete justice. So that's really amazing. Now, as we talk about work, as we talk about the things you get to do, which are all really fun, what do you do for fun to take a break, to take a pause from this can get a little challenging at times. So, what's your de stress?
I think nature, if I get to walk in nature, is like the finest connection happens in somewhere. Sometimes I can't even explain, but it really connects me well with surrounding, makes me aware of my own thing. Desi movies I love, and especially a lot of from aspiration, the entire OTT has moved to familiarity where the local towns and local language, and I really love those stories. It gives us such a great confidence that somebody has actually shared those in such a
Yes.
captivating manner. And it's the same true kind of a reflection of you trying to see in physical product design where
Mhm.
the narratives are different, but these are adding to become a very strong desi perspective, on what we do. And I think so movies, watching, completely binge watching sometime, walking, podcast, playing with, spending time with my daughter Amaira, my wife Amrita, and my 4 months old puppy spaniel Yuki. I think it keeps me busy over the weekend.
That's awesome. And I really relate to what you said about these shows or movies that show the real life that in the past we didn't get to see a whole lot of. It was very Bollywood, it was much larger than life. And a lot of the content now shows you what really goes on. And it gives you that perspective that it's okay. We are part of this. This happens to us also. And that realism, I would imagine, helps a lot in bringing your designs to life because you are designing for a whole spectrum of an audience, as you said, from the bottom of the pyramid to the ultra wealthy. Yeah, thanks for sharing that perspective. And I really relate to the whole spectrum of options you have there to de stress and mix and match a little bit there. Now, this brings us to my favorite part of the show. We call it the one line life lessons. I would love for you to share your life lessons with us.
I think many things I got by just getting up, breaking my own inertia, and asking, and I just got it. It that simple. And sometimes I feel that other than parents, you have to ask for something and people will help. Only parents give kids without asking. So lesson number one was always get up and ask, whatever that would be. In 99% of time I would have got, or we do get those things when you ask for it. Celebrate your local being, and and that's what they see design, which is hidden two words in design, and that's something kind of a little accidental discovery. And I'm really happy that design has been holding this two very important things for us. And because design do bring very sophisticated, simplified view and can be consumed by very large amount of people and understood by large amount of people because you simplify, communicate what's needed to be done. So it's really important that we celebrate this desiness and in our life with some sophistication so that we become very powerful. Indian design can be a very powerful element outside. Yeah.
Love that. Abhijit, thank you so much for sharing those life lessons, for sharing your journey and story, and for your designs. I think those are very instrumental in what I see as the coming of age of Indian design, the Indian design philosophy. And I believe we are truly ready for the India design to come to the world. And I'm really excited and happy that you're at the forefront of it and can't wait to see you go places. And again, really excited to see where Tiguna is and how soon it comes to life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here and letting me share my little experiences.